What's up, y'all? This your girl, Rebel Ray, and I'm your hostess with the mostest. And today, I have a lovely guest by the name of Nikki Mungues. Let's go, y'all. Clap it up, heart it up. Welcome, Nikki.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
For sure, Nikki. We gonna groove today, just like how I was saying backstage. Bringing you on and actually having you here is one of those things that we love to share with our community. We love to share insight and also oversight about what's going on outside of the area as well. And you being the business expert and entrepreneur extraordinaire that you are, we can't wait for you to drop those gems.
Man, I can't wait to, just share my story and help inspire the people just like what you're doing. I'm proud of you, girl.
Oh, for sure. Thank you, Kim Folk. I appreciate you. And just like, before we get really into the weeds and we really explore our guest and everything that they do, we got those church lady announcements. Let's go. Listen, join us for the community baby shower. This is baby shower number 4. Now, remember, the reason why we're doing these baby showers is because the rates of Black women and their babies are 4 times more than the average rates in the United States for mortality. That means they're dying 4 times more. And we have to do something to advocate and support with, eliminating and decreasing that number. And so we are celebrating our TTs and our TS at recognizing the importance of the extended family support system in maternal health. A lot of us, our child's father or our baby daddies, as some of y'all refer to them, may not stick around, but we know that the mothers are very strong and everything of their glory come together and they get behind and rally behind our sisters to get the job done. And so this will be happening October 19, 2024. The time will be 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Listen, where is it happening? At Stribley Community Center. That's at 1760 East Sonora Street, Stockton, California, 95205. I'll have flyers here at Huddle Co. and Create, and also inbox the Pruned Tree Podcast. We'll also put that flyer up for all of our listeners and viewers to go ahead and join. And you could be a participant. You could be at any measure of your pregnancy or just had your baby. Or if you had a story where you lost your baby or you lost someone to childbirth, please come. We want to uplift your story. The Pruned Tree Podcast comes live on that broadcast. And we use the Pruned Trees platform to help heal, to share the narratives and the stories of our Black and brown people and our most vulnerable, because our narratives are a lot of times are not lifted up. And so celebrating our women, celebrating who we are, and celebrating our futures, this is what we're doing for advocacy. So I hope to see you Saturday, October 19th. All right, y'all, let's go. I got Nikki with me. Nikki. Anybody call your name like that?
Yeah.
So, Nikki, you grew up in Northern California, and then you found yourself down in Southern California. You got to tell me about this.
Oh, my goodness. Yes. So I'm a Bay girl. They say you could take the girl out the Bay, but you can't take the Bay out the girl.
Hey, y'all, a lot of y'all don't know about that, what I just threw up. I did it real sophisticated, but hey.
Oh my goodness, I love the Bay, girl. I grew up there. I was born in Daly City, where all the Filipinos are at.
That's right, and all the poly love. Let's go.
I know. And then I grew up in like the Vallejo, Benicia area. I went to middle school in North Hills.
Okay.
I went to the same middle school as her. I was so crazy in Vallejo, yeah. And then I moved to Los Angeles because of my family's business. So I was 12 years old. Girl, I hated Los Angeles at first because I had to leave all my friends. I didn't know anybody. So it was 8th grade. I had one more year, to play on the basketball team, but I moved here for my family's business, and then high school, and and then the place just grew on me,
Okay.
And yes, I have family out in the Bay Area, but most of my adult life was in LA.
Okay. Okay.
So
And that changes of like space and
yes,
time. Is the culture really, really different? Because it's nothing like Bay Area culture.
it's not.
Even us being down in Stockton, we have contributed to that. We then took Mac Dre's principles and everybody else from that former era, from the dope era, like Fab likes to say. But is it different? Like, was it hard trying to associate and assimilate into that culture?
You know what? Whenever I go back to the Bay, because my cousins, they live in like Oakland. I have a cousin in Sac. Like I don't know, Bay Area has such a culture.
Yeah,
I feel like Los Angeles is just like a big old melting pot. Everybody comes to LA from different parts of the world, different parts of the country. And so when you look at LA, people are like, okay, they think of Hollywood, they think of just trying to make it. So I think, yes, there is a big difference.
Yeah, it is. It's a big difference in how we see family and how we see the culture. So I heard a little birdie told me that you once upon a time was a baller.
Yeah.
Come on now, let's talk about that, because your girl was a baller too.
Oh, you were?
Oh yeah. Before I became a mommy, you know what I'm saying? I played that 4 and that 5. I was a small, big girl. And going against 6'2", 6'5", I didn't care. I'll break him at the knees and hit him with a kidney shot, and and stun on him in the paint. So tell me about that a little bit.
You know what? It's one of those things in your life where people are going to think you're crazy. People are going to think you're like delusional. It's crazy because I was talking to myself a couple of days ago and I was like, wow, I really chose the sport that was just vertically challenging. Like, you can ask Nico, you can ask Mom. I barely hit 5 feet. Like,
wow.
I'm tiny.
Wow. Okay. And you was breaking ankles. Was you good? Was you sweet?
I was quick, sister.
Come on, let's go.
Quick. And the game of basketball, yes, like if you have height, you're at a huge advantage. I didn't have that advantage. So I had to outsmart my opponents. I had to be quicker. I had to be 10 steps ahead of them. And it was way harder for me. Way harder for me.
Wow.
One thing that you couldn't take away from me though as a young girl was dreaming big.
Come on.
I wanted to, actually play in the WNBA. I remember I was like 8 years old, 8 years old, whatever, in the Bay Area. We lived in Benicia. You probably know where Benicia's at. Our house was right across the street from the park.
Okay. I
was trying out for my middle school team and I could not make a layup. I could not make a left-hand layup.
Ouch.
I would literally wake up at 6 a.m. every day. And that started when I was young because
them Heineken drills, you was hitting them with them Heineken drills, All right.
But I don't know. Every time I stepped on the court, I just saw myself as like I was the same height as everybody else.
That's right. Right.
Growing and maturing, you apply those concepts to your business, to life. It's like confidence is everything,
Yes.
So I think my confidence is what got me to, play in college, what got me to play, semi-pro in these leagues in LA.
Let's go. Let's go. Yep. And you didn't let that height get in front of you. What were some of the obstacles of the mind that you had to overcome? Obviously, you're going against at least height that's 5'8" or more, right? Yeah. And so what did you find yourself having to be skilled in, even with like selling yourself? You said you're playing on these semi-pro. Why did the coach even take a chance on you at that level in height?
Right. I honestly think it's because of the heart that I had, the type of heart that I had to literally outwork. Like I would step on the court and they knew I had so much passion and I would just be a dog. Like I'm a small Asian girl, but it's like you literally have to be a dog. And it was hard, and all my friends know me, my teammates know me as like this big mindset girl. Like I did
Yes.
not care what other people thought about me, and I don't know where I got that from. I think I got it from the way I was raised,
Right.
because your mind is everything. If you have a weak mindset, oh my God, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap,
It's
right? Really talking to yourself, understanding the hustle mentality,
yeah,
and understanding that through your travels, through your belief systems, we always talk about that law of resonating. How
right,
do I resonate in the metaphysical? What am I pulling to my resignation, right? What's
right.
flowing within my universe? And you found yourself working with Kobe Bryant, didn't
Yeah,
you? Tell
yes.
me about that.
That's so funny because I was just in a podcast like 2 weeks ago, and they love this question because Kobe is like literally one of the goats out there, and so
One of
how it
the
all
greatest of our time.
literally,
Rest in
I grew
peace.
up
Rest in
watching him.
peace.
I literally grew up watching him, but um, I graduated from college and I was supposed to become a doctor. And one
Okay.
of my very first jobs, internships, was at the sports academy. This was prior to Kobe even buying the facility. So I think this was
Wow.
like 2017. The next year, Kobe buys the facility, becomes Mamba Sports Academy, and I'm in there in the PT room, treating all these athletes. And there was an event that was going to happen that same week. I think I was like a couple months in working. Coach D Pinkard, he is a basketball coach. He texts me. He was like, "Hey Nikki, like, are you available? Thursday at such and such time." I was like, "Yeah, totally." And then he texted me, "Okay, it's Kobe Bryant's event." And I was like,
Let's
"Oh my
go.
God, cool." So I pull up and it was just so awesome to be in his presence. Oh my goodness. Like, I'm really big on aura, like people's energy. Like I could feel
Exactly.
energy through this computer right now.
Right. Right.
Um, and his energy just radiated.
Wow.
And it was just
He's the
insane.
truth. He was the truth.
Oh yeah.
He made himself. I mean, the fans got behind him and loved him, but it was the work ethic, right?
Yeah,
It was the intellect, right? You often seeing yourself in his work ethic.
right. People think he's crazy. Like, but that's okay. And he
Right.
was okay with that.
You have to be okay with that. If you're going to be one of a kind, the best to ever do it, you want that goat mentality, you want that
Right,
mamba mentality.
right.
You gotta accept the crazy, right? And oftentimes I'm blessed with that title myself, but to be able to be in Kobe's presence, especially before he passes, that's
Yeah.
everybody can't say that. So tell me about this opportunity when you met him and how you were able to study your master.
Just being in somebody's presence like that, sharing the same court, sharing the same space. I remember I was coaching the set of girls on certain drill, and even just like a head nod, like he was just, and that's why I'm really big on body language. When you are in somebody's presence, you don't know who's watching you.
Come
You
on.
don't know, because that's the type of energy that you give.
There it
And so
is.
he walked around that court with such a high level energy. And then he spoke afterwards and he was like, always remember this. He was just talking about dreaming big, like dream so big that who cares what other people are going to say about you? Who cares? Like, it's supposed to scare you, but if you want to dream so big, you have to be ready to make sacrifices.
Let's go. Let's go. And
Like
I
you,
know too, like being in the Bay, all kind of things was popping off when we was kids. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Side shows, all kind of things, shootings. I mean, even in Daly City, it was popping
yeah,
off in Daly City. You
I
know what
mean,
I'm saying?
yeah,
So for you to go down to LA and really connect with the right people, dreaming big is gonna take you so far, but the environment
the
had to
environment.
foster. Come on,
Yeah,
talk about that for a moment. Talk about
yeah.
that.
No, it's, you really gotta surround yourself with people who are going to push you, people who are better than you.
Right.
But that goes with, are you okay with being in that space where
Uh-oh.
there's no jealousy?
Mm.
There is no hatred because you could
Mm.
be in a space, but it's like other people don't want,
Self-sabotage. Come on. Come
they
on.
don't want to see you win.
Ooh.
And so aura is everything. You gotta read people's aura, just feel it. But it is very important to surround yourself with the right people. All my friends, man, they're in the business that I'm in. They're athletes. They're multimillionaires. They're up there. But that's
Let's go.
why it pushes me to get to the next level.
I love that. And I think too, when you start to reevaluate yourself, you start to reevaluate your growth, the
Yes.
rate of even how you're growing. You
Yes.
start reevaluating your friends, what I'm paying my attention to. I talked
Yeah.
to one of my millionaire friends, and I have millionaire friends, and I'm on my way there too. But a lot of them was like, hey, RC, if you cannot, in those first four phone calls in your phone that you're always picking up, call to ask for a favor that will allow you to maneuver and
Right.
support and expand your vision, you don't need them. I was like, whoa, that's getting to the level where you're learning who you are and where
Right.
you want to position yourself, right?
Exactly.
You don't got time for all of the frolicking, the gossip, who hate who slept with whose baby daddy.
No.
I mean, you're leaving all of that behind you.
Yeah. No, exactly. And it's the type of conversations that you have, because one thing is that time is one thing you can never get back.
Come on. Come on.
That if you are spending time talking with a friend, talking about so and so, you got to realize that you can't get that time back. Like when I'm talking with my friend, it was crazy because I was just talking to my best friend, Anime. She's like my best friend in college, been friends.
And that's
for
her name. That's her name.
Yeah, Anime. I call her May.
That's dope.
I know. She's crazy. I love her though.
She a full fantasy. Anime.
Yes.
Get your behind over here.
But
Wow.
Anna, ANNA
Yes.
MAE, not like
Wow.
the anime. Right. Isn't
Wow.
that crazy?
Right. Okay.
I was talking to her because we are so hungry. Like we were just like looking at photos like a couple years ago when we were fresh out of college. We were babies. But it's like we thought, we had our lives together, but no, it's crazy because we actually love it. We love leveling up. We love getting older and mature because you just learn so much about yourself. You learn to, study your surroundings a little bit more. You learn to set your boundaries, which is so important.
Oh, let's talk about that. As you're leveling up, right? You're setting those boundaries, and we're transitioning now to where you're at as a businesswoman and and how you're supporting your family and also your extended people and network around you with what you're doing now. Where you think you may be going, there is always an opportunity to go somewhere where you can be happy, where you can level up. But it's also understanding what I'm not going to do, right? And so for so long, do you remember how traditionally they told us we had to go to college? You have to spend this certain amount of money to get this degree, to be someone that's formidable, to fight for, a level in this ladder, in this double glass ceiling too, as women and women of color, in some unhappy place, right? Tell us how you debunk that. I want to know, how did you do that, and how did you set your boundaries for yourself?
I think it's also because I was once and still is like an athlete, and I'm very coachable. And one thing that if you want to become successful, you have to be coachable. So one of my mentors told me this: if you literally have to envision yourself 5 years from now, envision yourself as like a multimillionaire, like a successful businesswoman. So that woman that you see 5 years from now, it starts from today. You are molding into becoming the person you want to be today. And whenever I get asked, oh, Nikki, like this was when I had that group of friends, I would always go out. They didn't get my lifestyle. I always had demos, meetings, whatever. they're like, do you want to come out? It's Taco Tuesday, blah, blah, blah. And I had to think back in my head. I'm like, Taco Tuesday, I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna get drunk.
Right. I'm gonna spend some money I don't want to spend.
I'm gonna have to sleep in. I'm not gonna get up at like 5 a.m. for my 6 a.m. workout.
Come on.
So, but back then, Nikki, I would still go and do it.
Right.
But now it's like I can't afford it. I can't afford it. So I set my boundaries, and we're not friends anymore, but that's okay. Like, they didn't get my lifestyle. That's okay. It's kind of like when you want to set your boundaries, you got to see, you need to have clarity in your life.
I love it. I tell people setting your boundaries is like a part of the pruning too. It's part of that growth process, right? And it's a seasonal thing that happens. And I personify the person like a tree at times when I go to explain this to a lot of my friends and who I mentor and my clients, right? And I say, looking at the tree, looking at the roots of the tree, right? Those are your day ones. They're going to be there through thick and thin. You might transition, better soil, but your roots are going to ground you, right? They're going to remind you of who you are, your greatness, and they're going to continue to feed you. And then you got friends that are going to be like your limbs. And then you got friends that are going to be like leaves. So when you start setting them boundaries, you're going to see some of them friends drop off.
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah. And to go back to what you were saying, the prune tree, this kind of goes with setting boundaries. And because obviously a tree has to undergo through some type of rain, storm. But what happens after that?
Let's go. See, that whole sequel of understanding growth and being grateful in that process, even when you're crying, even when you're down, even when life is hitting you and you're like on that 10th round and you're like, oh, I'm going to make it, right? You're really grateful for that pruning, because when you come out of there, you like, oh, I got understanding, right? But out of shadow, come on, it comes enlightenment. Yes.
It sucks being like, and I'm just going to be so real, because that's one thing that I'm working on social media, because everybody sees happy-go-lucky Nikki. Yeah. But I just want to let everybody know that I had to go through so many lowlights to see my highlights.
Okay.
So many. And it's just recently, I just wanted to share that with a lot of people, like heartbreak, like physical trauma. Like, I had to go through like multiple knee surgeries, but everybody sees, oh, successful Nikki. And I'm sure with you too, everybody sees, oh, she has a successful podcast. You're like, but people don't know what you've gone through. People don't know.
They don't know. And I struggle with the inner self. And a lot of times too, when you're going through that struggle, a lot of times those, internal factors that you internalize, even when you were younger, trying to find yourself, they come back up. I have to tell that girl all the time. I'm driving in my BMW, my music slapping, is some Bay Area music, of course. Right. Slapping, and that imposter syndrome comes up out of nowhere. I look crazy. I know I do, because I'm telling her, shut up. You do not belong in my destiny right now, right?
Right. But that's the reason why your mind has to be so much stronger than your
emotions. Talk about it. Talk about the mama mentality of the mind.
Man, like, I'm going to shout out my brother, because my brother is a huge Kobe fan. And I love talking about mama mentality, but a lot of people just don't understand it.
Yeah.
And they just will forever think that obviously Kobe is crazy, which he is. But you kind of have to be a little bit delusional in order for you to, be so
break these barriers.
Yes.
Right. Breaking these barriers. Yeah.
Because it's so hard. It's so hard to have such a strong mindset. But if whenever that episode occurs, when you have that imposter syndrome, you literally have to, I literally have this analogy where it's just like a light switch. Flip the switch.
Flip that switch.
Because remember, time is one thing you can never get back. If you are sunken into that space of, oh my God, like you're stuck in your trauma,
right?
Find a way to get right back out.
So when you say find and get right back out, you know I'm a trauma specialist, and if you didn't know, now you know,
Oh,
right? And I
wow.
talk about, I talk
That's
about the
so
process a lot of times with my clients, and I talk about even being cognizant of your triggers, but also knowing that you can't stay there. If you
yeah.
want to grow, you got to own that what happened to you, be accountable to how you're going to react to it,
Right.
and then how am I moving forward? What were some of your gems that you think back when when you knew you had a goal? We're going to go into where you're at now in your marketing and sales of rainbow products, and I want our viewers and our listeners to talk about that. I want you to hear. We want to hear your story. How do you really fortify your mind when you know, hey, I have a certain amount of sales that I need to make to keep my lifestyle, right? Like
Right.
it's serious when it comes to marketing and sales of a particular product. I want to talk about that.
Yeah. So I just love the topic on sales because a lot of people stray away from it. But actually, the number one thing you actually just have to do is believe in the product. You
Mm,
have to believe in the product. And so I'm going to be honest, my product is a high ticket price. It's not cheap. But it's very high quality. It's certified for people who have asthma allergies. Now, like I said, it's not cheap, so it is an investment.
okay.
So if I don't believe in it, if I don't believe that it can help change my customer's life, then it's a wrap for me. I can't close the deal.
Mm,
And so I just go into the house, into my client's house, because we do in-home demonstrations with so much tunnel vision.
okay.
And my point is, yes, I don't sell air purifiers. I'm selling health.
Okay. Come
You
on.
you gotta realize the end goal of what your product and service is. They don't
Okay.
care about the machine, but what can the machine do for them? So
Come on.
there was I've been number one, in the world twice by the grace
What?
of God
Come
because
on. Kudos to you.
thank you. But it was because my mindset. I literally went into every single house having tunnel vision, believing in my product. And it's hard because, girl, I would get rejected all the time, left
Mm,
and right. There were times where I would literally go into my car and just cry because I did the best that I could. But my mom would always tell me, and this comes with being an athlete, you need to have short term memory.
mm,
Let it go.
mm. Let that go.
Let it go. And I feel like that's the number one thing that a lot of people are struggling with. They don't know how to let stuff, just like in life. It's like they take things so personally, but it's like you can't. It's gonna
That
keep
stress shortens your life too, Nikki. A lot of people don't
going.
know the internalized factors, the conflict that comes into your life when you hold on to that stress shortens your lifespan. So you
That's
can be going to the gym, you can be eating right, but that stress factor on your internal organs and your mental does the worst damage.
That's so true. The fact that you say internal organs, because like your body needs to function properly. And so if you are stressed, like it's not going to function properly.
No.
And I just feel so bad for some people who don't know how to manage that. And obviously
Mm,
I give you props, and I have a podcast too. That's the reason why we're causing this awareness.
right.
This is our time especially with times right now. Life is not easy.
No.
People need to hear these short messages. They just need hope. I just think people just need hope.
And yeah, and I really focus on more of the positive than I hear the negative.
Yes.
I share with a lot of people growing up, I learned empathy and I learned to take care of my community. We ran a funeral home business for 30 years. And so
Wow.
with learning that, you just learn the death and dying process, but all of the craziness that's in between the dying and the living, it will leave you to a point where you're just like, oh my goodness, I want to always live my life exceptional, no matter what, right?
Yeah.
So really understanding too, how do I give back to my community? What gems can I, when I learn something, how can I reach back down and pull someone up? What can I
Exactly.
share, right? And so I do that now on the prune tree. But I feel like when you're talking about our health and our wellness. You know that asthma rates here and our life expectancy here on the South Stockton. I'm a leader here in South Stockton. Our life expectancy in South Stockton is 20 years less.
What?
20 years less than the North Side, girl. I can't make it up. And the asthma rates, when I tell you the warehousing, the pollutants, the freeway, we call Highway 4. And I don't know if you know about Little Manila District and your ancestors that lived here, but a lot of their generational wealth was taken when Highway 4 was built, right? So on top of that, it's the pollutants. So what you're doing is God's work always. When we can introduce technology into our homes, especially here in California, where we have high fires and pollutants down in LA, and we can help with, purifying the air and helping our children's, life expectancy. So that's really dope. I want to congratulate you.
Thank you
on being the 2-time world leader in sales. So where can we find your podcast? Because I feel like with your personality, it's so loving, it's life-bringing. I know sometimes you have people who tend to suck onto you and try to absorb that, but at least through your podcast, people can really connect with you and stay connected.
Yeah. So thank you for those, awesome words. My podcast is the Nikki Mungues Show. It used to be the Queen Me Show, but I just had so many amazing male figures in my life that I wanted to showcase, So the Nikki Mungues Show, it just helps a lot of people through all walks of life, but it's more so mindset, because I'm really, really, really big on mindset. Mindset is everything.
For sure. You got to have Rebel Ray on there one day.
I sure do.
I got to come down to LA, so I travel a lot. So I'll be hitting you up.
Yes.
I love the network. I love to bring in new knowledge into Stockton. Sometimes it can be a covering that happens, and our people get kind of stuck here, and they don't get new insight. But it's I think knowledge is power. And if you know someone is doing something great, how do we uplift that? How do we share that?
Right. And speaking of networking, I do have an event. Maybe you can take a trip out here in LA on December 7th on Saturday.
For sure.
With we're going to have the world's best trainers out there. It's more so on sales, but business wise, whether you're a pro or someone who is a rookie in the game of business, everybody is welcome. I'm about to drop more information on that.
For sure. We'll also uplift it on our social media platforms. As you know, I am a business advocate here in the city of Stockton and Greater San Joaquin. I do sit on a couple of boards, including our iHub advisory board here, as well as being a member of the many chambers that we have here. And let me tell you, the funding for women women in business, especially women of color, it is restricted. And so we have to, right? Women being 44% of the population that supports small business commerce here in the United States. We got to go forth and we got to come together. Anytime there's funding opportunities, there's grants, there's capacity building grants, I'm getting that information out, right? Because the stronger we are together, the stronger our future is and the future we need for our kids, right? So definitely. And so give us your social media platform so we can also follow you there.
Yes, follow me on Instagram. I'm more so active on Instagram, Nikki Mungues at NIKKIMUNGUES, as well as TikTok. I post a lot of fun, motivational stuff and business tips and sales tips on there as well.
For sure. And I gotta, get up on the TikTok game.
Yeah.
I'm like goofy, but I'm like this morbid sense of humor goofy. So I gotta work on that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, maybe my crew here at Mayfair Management can help me with the TikTok. But definitely let's connect. I appreciate you. I appreciate your energy. I appreciate you coming on full of vigor, sharing your story of inspiration. And it don't take a long hour and a half drawn out interview to get the point. If
Right.
you got the message right that Nikki had, then you understand the gems, right? So follow her.
Right.
Follow her on social media and all of her glory. We appreciate you, Nikki, for coming on.
Thank you
And
so
listen,
much.
we love all of y'all. Tune into the Pruned Tree Podcast. We're here every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, talking about the growth and development of everything that's good, that's of the light. We're pushing forward. I love you. This is Rubber Ray. Peace. We out.
Thank you.